So you want to start flipping houses, but you don't know exactly how much money do you need to get started from absolute zero. In this video, I'm going to tell you how much you need, and it's not going to be exactly what you expect. I'm going to tell you exactly what steps to take to get to it. If you don't know my name is Aram. I'm a real estate investor. I almost said realtor here in the Chicagoland area. I used to be an agent. I have now transitioned to being a full-time investor, and I'm here to give you some game, some free knowledge. Because this is a DM I get all the time. How much money do I need to start investing? I have 30K, I have 10K, I have 100K, I have 200K, right? And I always say, based on how much money you have and your whatever position you are in your life is gonna determine where you could start. So to answer your question, in short, to save you from watching this entire video, just make sure you like and subscribe before I give you the juice. In almost any market, if you have $80,000 to $100,000 cash, you could start flipping houses, one at a time or even two at a time, depending on how you're gonna finance it. But if you don't have $80,000 to $100,000, then you should still watch this video, because I'm gonna show you exactly why you should not wait until you do have $80,000 to $100,000. Allow me to explain. Let's say you have $5,000 to $10,000. I think anybody could get to hell, we can get that to you in a credit card, right? You could either use your $5,000 to $10,000 to go find a great deal and then find someone that's already has the 100K, or you could spend the next 6 years of your life saving what, 15, 20K a year, just so you can start investing 5, 6 years from now. That doesn't sound very reasonable, does it? So the advice I give everybody that comes to me with wanting to invest in real estate is, do you need money to invest in real estate? Absolutely. Does it have to be your money? Of course not. That's the key. When people say, I bought this house with none of my own money, I put zero down, whatever the case is, it still takes money to buy the real estate. The seller had to gotten paid. Otherwise, there's no point to sell you the property, right? However, the real estate is one of the greatest assets to raise capital for, and you guys need to take advantage of that. See, if Joe, who's 32, saved up $100,000, and you're 25, just getting started on your journey here, right? You can wait until you're 32 to save up that 100K, or go to Joe and be like, listen, bro, I just spent $10,000 to find us a flip that's gonna make us a 50K profit, but I need 100K to get us to that 50K profit. And I'll give you 50% of the profits to do the deal with me. So now he is investing 100,000 to make 25K, which is a win. 25% return on your money in 6 months is an absolute win. That's a 50% annualized return. If you don't know what I'm talking about, study finance. And you're gonna make $25,000 on a $10,000 investment. It's a win-win. And then as you get better, you need less and less capital to invest in real estate. Now here's 2 ways. I'm gonna tell you exactly how you're gonna buy the real estate. One of the easiest and lowest barrier to entry is hard money loans. Now, there's 2 ways you could do this. If you have no experience, most hard money lenders will require you to put 20 to 25% of the purchase price down, and they will finance 100% of the rehab for you. So to put things in perspective, if you're buying a property for $200,000, you'll need to put 40 to 50K down. They will cover the rehab in draw, so you'll have to front the money and then you'll get it back on the back end. They're gonna charge you about 12 to 14% in interest because you're brand new, and you're probably gonna pay 2 to 4 points up front. That's basically your origination fee, on top of all the junk fees they're gonna charge you. So that's hard money. And when you do the math with hard money in the beginning, it really doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're giving up a lot of the profit to the lender, and you're doing that because you're a big risk, and the lender's trying to cover their butt. Because for every 10 people they lend money to like this, right, 6 of them lose money. So they have to make sure that, their downside is covered. And that's why, as a brand new investor, hard money loan is gonna be a little bit difficult for you to get. But if you have no other choice, I'd rather you get a hard money loan than not do the deal. It's gonna make you $50,000, okay? Shit, let it make you $30,000, but instead, maybe you only need 50K to do the deal. It's still a win at the end of the day. The second way you can get a hard money loan, if you have somebody in your network that is open to co-signing on the note alongside you, that could save you a tremendous amount of money you couldn't even believe. I'll give you a prime example. See, you're putting 25% down, you're putting 12 to 14% in interest, and you're paying 2 to 4 points up front. What points mean is like literally percent on the loan. So if you're getting a $200,000 loan, you will be paying about $4,000 to $8,000 in just origination fees. That is a huge chunk. Now imagine you get someone who's got experience, such as myself in your local market, to agree to co-sign on the note. And if it's a good deal, they will, as long as they know you got your shit together, right? If someone like me co-signs on your note, now you only need 10% down. So now that deal that you needed like $50,000, $60,000 down in closing costs, plus another 20 for carrying costs, all that. So the 80 to 100K that you needed, with someone like me, you only really need $25,000 to cover your down payment and closing costs, and maybe an additional 10K to have your carrying costs covered for the next like 4 or 5 months, right? That's literally it. How much easier is it to raise 35, 40 grand than it is to raise 100 grand, right? So if you could, and no fees at one point, and barely any junk fees. Your title fees are cheaper, things like that. When you find someone that's doing volume, you bring them a good deal, and all he has to do is sign docs for, percent of profits, of course. Very easy to do. That is one of the cheat codes. Now, if you don't have any of those options, the next best thing you could do is raise private capital. This is how I got started. Because I looked at the private money terms. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna make anyone rich, let it be individuals, because it's what's important to me is building relationships, right? So I went to people that I knew had $50,000 to $150,000 sitting in the bank. I said, look, I got a deal that's gonna make a $60,000 profit. I'm open and willing to share this deal with you. I found it, I secured it, it is mine, I control it. I would like to give you the opportunity to invest in it with me, and I'll give you the percent of profits, right? In the beginning, you gotta do profit share because the investor is gonna ride the risk with you. So they're gonna need the upside. If you're super young, have no experience, never done a deal, and you clearly are gonna make a lot of mistakes, right? Now, if you could convince someone to give you terms the other way, please be my guest. I'm not saying, settle for profit share if you could get better terms. But that's generally how you're gonna, the easiest way to raise capital is just give profit share. So in the beginning, I gave 50% of my first deal away. Then I gave 60% of my second deal away. Now I gave 44% of my third deal away. And from that point forward, I only gave away like 30, 40% of the deal. And now I'm just using hard money because it's so much cheaper. And I just use private capital for just my guys to keep their money in rotation. That's pretty much it. So that is how you, with very little money, can invest in real estate. And the recipe, just to sum it up, is as simple as this. Spend your $5,000 to $15,000 in marketing and sales to have leads come your way so you could secure 1 to 3 flips. $15,000 in marketing budget should get you 1 to 3 flips easily, right? Unless you're absolutely providing zero effort. Now that flip's gonna make you about 40 to 60K. That's gross profit. You're gonna go to somebody and be like, listen, I'm willing to share this profit with you, but I need your money. See, other people have the money, but they don't have the deal. So once you can bring the deal to the table, voila, the money will always appear and you will never have an issue. And if you're not buying real estate because you don't have money, I think you're full of it, because that's never the issue when it comes to real estate. You're not buying real estate because you don't have the knowledge, the expertise, the connections, and the ability to acquire a good, juicy deal with margin and have the knowledge to explain that juicy deal with margin. So this is why once you get a deal, it's so much easier to raise capital, because in order to get a deal, you need to learn how to pull comps. You need to actually take initiative and spend your money. You need to make sales calls, right? You're gonna get shitted on a few times. You gotta get a few quotes from contractors. You gotta talk to realtors, et cetera, et cetera. You're gonna learn a lot just before you find your first deal, which makes it so much easier to raise capital, because now you have experience, knowledge, and expertise. All right, so that's the short and long answer of how much money you need to start investing in real estate. So if you got 100,000, even in that case, I'd say spend it all in marketing, go raise the capital to do everything with other people's money. If you don't have 100,000, 5 to 15 get you a long way if you know where to put it. I hope this was enjoyable. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment with all your questions below. I will be addressing every single one of your comments. As these videos get posted, we're a little bit behind on some posts, but we will get it done. Again, thank you to everybody for the support. And we're almost at 20K subs. So let's go. See you on the next one.